Scientists estimate that 3.5 trillion fish are swimming around in our oceans today. Fortunately, they also estimate that by 2050, our oceans will have more plastic in them than all those fish. Of course, this plastic doesn't come from the ocean. It doesn't grow among the seaweed and the coral. 80% of it enters the ocean from land, after people like you and me use it in many forms, many times each day. Plastic surrounds us. It has made our lives more convenient, but it is threatening the world's future. But now there is something that all of us can start doing, replacing the plastic in our daily lives with alternative materials that provide all the same conveniences. Hello, I am your host, Mike Lake, and in today's preview, I will be talking with Max Mohammadi about his company, PlasticFri, and how they are working to make our oceans and the world just that, plastic free.
Innovation, resiliency, discovery. Join Mike Lake, President and CEO of Leading Cities, as we explore the technologies shaping the possibilities of our future with a preview of tomorrow.
Hello and welcome, Max. Thank you so much for joining us. And once again, I want to welcome all of our listeners and watchers. I'd like to introduce you all to Max Mohammadi, the co-founder and chairman of PlasticFri, a company with a breakthrough technology that transforms renewable resources to bio-based products for replacing fossil-based plastics. Now, Max, I'd like to first learn a little more about you and how you got into this.
Great. Thanks a lot. So my name is Max. I'm one of the co-founders behind the PlasticFri. We're from Sweden, and PlasticFri is a green tech company from Sweden. But maybe it's also very interesting and important for the both listeners and viewers to know the why behind our company. So I co-founded the company together with my brother, and this whole story goes back to our childhood. So when we were kids and we were traveling or going out to the nature or to the beach, our parents made us like take 5-10 minutes to pick up trash every time we were out. So and then this has become like a norm or a habit for us. We still do that on a voluntary basis, and unfortunately the biggest amount of trash that we have been picking and still picking is plastic, mainly single-use plastic items. So we thought at a certain point many years ago, we thought we can't travel the world and pick up trash, so there must be a better way, and that's where I started looking into this subject, doing some research, and then my brother, his name is Alan, he continued my research, and then around 3 years ago, when we succeeded to make something that worked outside the lab, then we started or thought that we should find register and found a company to take this 200% focus on this and take it forward.
Well, it's such an interesting evolution from what your parents have taught you as a youngster to now being co-founder of this company. I want to now talk a little bit about the challenge in depth because I think we're all familiar with the fact that in general plastic is a problem. I'm not sure even those who are focused on this problem fully understand the extent of the problem it really is. But we've talked about on this podcast in the past the fact that every piece of plastic that's ever been made still exists today, and that it could take 1,000 years or more before the plastic is truly degraded. So give us a sense from your perspective, what is this problem? Where does it come from?
Yeah, so plastic in itself, it can be a great material, but normally it is applied in the wrong context. So if you want to have something durable, light, and so on, there are different types of plastic. So if it's applied to those products, of course, it's nothing else can beat it. But the problem starts when you apply it for like single-use product applications. That is a product that is going to be used in a few minutes, and then it will last for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And this creates the first part of the problem. The second part of the problem is that how humans lack knowledge of like how they should handle this at its end of life, the products. And sometimes you see a product that is plastic, you see it, but sometimes also you think it's another product. So just an example, you take a paper cup, a normal paper cup, people use it globally to drink tea, coffee, water, or Coke, and it is called paper cup, right? But a normal paper cup contains in average between 10 to 30% plastic. And people don't know it. And then if it ends up in nature, that takes decades to decompose. And then also you get microplastic into your body when you drink those drinks every single time. And then it also creates issues when it comes to recycling, because the plastic, there is a plastic film inside the cup, for example, and then that makes it very difficult and challenging and expensive to recycle. That's why almost none of these are recycled. They end up in landfill or in nature, or in best case scenario, normally they just are incinerated or burnt just to produce some energy, but that's not really the preferred end of life option for such a product, because you're cutting the trees to make that product that you use a few minutes, and then it either stays in the environment for a long time, or you don't dispose it in the best possible way.
So obviously, as you know, Leading Cities focuses a lot on cities and in trying to solve the challenges to make cities more sustainable, more resilient. This is an interesting fact, because about 60% of the plastic marine debris really actually comes from cities. So in this case, cities are the problem. And I'm just wondering if you can talk a little bit to the fact of how PlasticFri is helping to address this problem.
Yeah, so we're trying to address this problem in multiple levels. So PlasticFri is a green tech company, as I mentioned, but it has two verticals. So one vertical, we call it Green School. It's a non-profit part of our organization that we focus on democratizing access to knowledge around environment, with a focus of course, plastics, but in a wider perspective. So because the knowledge or the education of the end consumers, they are, I mean, that is really creating that culture not to make those pollutions in the first place. Then the second part, which is the commercial part of our company, is that we use the power of innovation and technology to come up with solutions in order to enable and empower every single person, businesses, and cities, both in private and public sector, to have more sustainable, better solutions. So we try to solve the problem at the source, but also if there is, of course, a party that will still happen, that people don't know or don't do the correct disposal, then at least the product that ends up in a landfill, or hopefully not in nature, but today, unfortunately, as you mentioned, 60% of marine debris goes to the like from the city. So at least that's a product that can break down in nature and doesn't contain any toxic material. But I can tell you also later more about some examples how we do that. So it's two parts, and then we try to build this bit by bit, but we have already achieved so much in a quite short period of time.
Well, do explain a little bit of those examples so we get a better sense of what exactly PlasticFri is and does.
Great. Yes. So we developed a core technology to make a biomaterial that looks and works like plastic, but it's made from plants. So basically, we use different renewable plant resources and make different recipes for different product applications. To make it more specific, basically, we decided quite early on to focus on so-called everyday life products, because that's where we can make the biggest impact before going to like high-end packaging applications and so on. So our very first, we have two categories of products. We have film-based products, and then we have fiber-based products. So the film-based products, for example, it's like this bag that we have done from agricultural waste and a specific type of like wild plant or non-edible plant. And this is biodegradable. It is both home compostable and industrial compostable. It doesn't contain any toxic material, and it does the job of a carrier bag. Then we have another recipe to do garbage bag for waste collection that minimizes the odor and then increases efficiency in terms of composting and so on. Then we have the even more interesting part about the fiber-based solutions. I gave you an example about the single-use like disposable paper cups that have plastic. So there we have done two innovations. One, we have replaced the plastic with our biomaterial, and then also developed a unique technology to reduce that coating that I mentioned in average is 15% to less than 2%. So we are offering a paper cup that is bio-based, biodegradable, compostable, but most importantly, can be recycled as paper up to 7 times, which means that this cup, after you drink your coffee or your Coke, you can throw this in a paper bin, but you can't throw the normal paper cups that you see today in a paper bin. And then we have used the exact same technology. We have developed a paper straw that works even in alcoholic drink, doesn't taste like paper, so solve all the issues with other like single-use straws. Then we have the lid, which is not today, it's mainly either it is plastic or it is bagasse, and both of them have different issues. So all of this, we call it like single stream material. So you have this, when you're done, then you put it in a paper bin, and this is a completely circular solution. This can be new paper packaging, and that is going to revolutionize the way we use and then we reuse or recycle the very valuable raw material that we have.
I mean, let's face it. I think plastic has been a blessing and a curse, right? It has helped humans to do all kinds of things, including our food packaging, and do it more conveniently and whatever. But I don't think anybody, as much as we've come to love how plastic has helped make things easier or more clean or whatever, I don't think anybody cares the actual source of how that plastic came to be. So whether it's oil-based or plant-based, there is no difference. And I think this is one of the things that really excites me about PlasticFri, is that you're not asking people to change anything. It's the product itself that's changing. The outcome is exactly the same. And on Preview of Tomorrow, we highlight a number of innovations ranging from all kinds of challenges that cities face or society faces. Not always is there a solution where the individual can make a individual choice. This is another thing about PlasticFri that I really appreciate, is that every one of us have the power to help solve this problem in cities or wherever we may be. So let me ask you this. Looking forward 10, 20, 50 years down the road, PlasticFri has totally replaced oil or fossil based plastics. What does that mean? What does it mean for the consumer, the individual? What does it mean for the community or society or the world at large?
Thank you. So very relevant and great question. So with PlasticFri, our vision is really to end plastic pollution catastrophe, and we do that by spreading the knowledge and by offering the solution, not only talking about things but really doing things and coming up with solutions. So basically, how we see that is that we are creating our own category. So the way people think about plastic, there will be a category as plastic free as well in very near future. So that's our vision, to create that, make that a new standard, set a new standard. The way that, can I have a, I don't know, a plastic fork and knife? Can I have plastic free fork and knife or cup and so on? But to be even more specific, so our vision by 2025 is to be able to replace at least more than 1 million tons of plastic. Just replace it. So talking about the fiber-based solutions. So imagine how much of this. I mean, we are based in Sweden, in Europe, and these numbers are in US are even higher. But in Europe alone, for example. Or if I have also the numbers for worldwide. If we just take the cup, which is one product, every year more than 600 billion of these cups are used. 600 billion. Just imagine just this one product category. If you turn that waste stream and make it to a circular stream, because we're cutting trees and then we're also putting plastic into our bodies, and then if we solve just that part, imagine the impact. And then we have also the other part of the impact from our project, which is like reducing the carbon footprint by up to 86%, depending on which product category we're talking about. And our technology reduces more than 65% less energy in the production. For each ton of the material, we're saving more than 26,000 liters of water, 1,400 liters of oil, and also talking about the landfill, it's 3.5 cubic meters of landfill space are saved per ton of the material. So if you just do the math, which is not easy, but you really see the magnitude of impact, and somebody has to start somewhere, and we want to be that somebody.
Well, I can't thank you enough for the work you and your brother are doing on this. And frankly, I want to thank your parents as well for instilling in you and inspiring you at such a young age to pick up that plastic on your way to the beach. But if for all of our listeners and viewers that want to learn more or get in touch, what's the best way for them to do that?
I think the best way would be to go to our website. I actually, because PlasticFri, the free is like written in Swedish. So it is spelled like plastic, the PLASTIC, but free is like FRI.com. And then you see it also, the viewers also can see it. So just go to our website and then contact us through there, and then we will try to help you in the best possible way. So just as the last part also, we have already several products out on the market. We have the cups that I showed, we have the straws, we have the bags, the waste bags, and also soon we will be launching e-commerce mailers in the same material as these cups. So that is paper, but working like a plastic mailer. So, and that is also, just think about the e-commerce, how that can just improve or enhance the brand that is using these kind of products, but at the same time fighting the plastic pollution, doing good and doing great at the same time.
Absolutely. Well, Max, again, thank you so much for being a guest on Preview of Tomorrow.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
Perfect. And thank you for tuning in to this episode of Preview of Tomorrow. Listeners like you are essential to advancing our efforts to drive resiliency and sustainability for all. I ask that you give us a rating on Apple Podcasts or whichever streaming platform you prefer. Your feedback helps us to grow and share these brief previews of what life in the future can be. In addition to thanking our guest today, I want to thank Peter Roy and Demetria Bridges for making this podcast possible. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and encourage others to also join us each week in previewing the possibilities of tomorrow.
Preview of Tomorrow is brought to you by Leading Cities, a global nonprofit driving resilience and sustainability for all by unleashing the potential of the world's cities. Join them at leadingcities.org.